Welcome back to the Bloom Effect, Bookish Cousins. I am happy to be here again with a very amazing author. And before we get her introduced, I want to introduce you to what the Bloom Effect actually is. It is your space for all things Black books, Black stories, and the people who bring them to life. Today, we are joined by Miss Latoya Nicole, and we're going to jump right into our spark where we get to learn about her. We'll have her craft where she breaks everything down. And then her bloom, where we talk about some books that I had the opportunity to read. And then we'll get into her legacy with the ripple. Welcome, Miss Latoya Nicole. How are you
Hey,
doing?
I'm good. And you?
Doing good, doing good. So I want us to jump right in because you are a unique spirit in the bookish space. As an author, as someone who is in community with the readers, I just really want to dive into who you are and what got you started. So, when you think about your earliest creative influences to inspire you to become the writer that you are, what lit the match to get you into your love of storytelling?
I went to jail.
Mm,
Um, was messing with this guy, abusive relationship. End up going to jail for murder. And can I say that? Can I say
mm,
that? Word?
yeah.
And in there, reflecting on everything that led up to. Um, I knew I didn't have to be there. You know what I mean? And I could have made different choices or went a different route, different things. Uh, got out of the situation, and once you start to reflect, you kind of start going through especially when you feel like your life is at an end, you kind of want to put your story out there and want people to see, like, hey, these are the signs, these are this, run away from this, don't stay for this. And so I just kind of wanted to put my story out there because I wanted other girls to kind of know, like, hey, this ain't always, glitter. This ain't always how it is when you chasing these men with all this money in the streets and everything else. So I wanted to put the real raw deal out there of what was. And so I just wanted to tell my story. And so when I wrote it and I got signed to Miss Lady P, she wouldn't give me a 1 book deal. And so she made me take a 3 book deal. And I was like, oh, okay. So I had to come up with another story. And once I wrote my story and then I wrote the next book, I was like, oh, I can actually do this. I think I actually might like this because now I got more stories popping in my head to write. And so I just kept continuing. And
And I'm glad you kept continuing because it it makes so much sense when reading the books that I've read by you. It makes so much sense how raw and how real your stories are. And seeing that it comes from the place that it comes from, I love that you give that type of authenticity within the stories that you write.
yeah, a lot of people don't
So
realize that.
go ahead.
A lot of people don't realize that. I tell them all the time. This is a lot of this, most of it is experience from what I've seen, what I've known. Like this people, when people be like, oh, that didn't seem real. And I'd be like, this literally happened to somebody I know. Like, but if you're not from that street life, it may seem far fetched or whatever, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's not. A lot of times it's, well, not with my books.
Okay, okay, because there's some questions that I may have, and now that you say that, ma'am, you've got some experience. You got some experience in them stories
Now,
that I
hold
know.
on now, because sometimes it's imagination. When-
Okay.
but I mean, when it comes to that actual street stuff, when they be saying it's far fetched for this guy to be able to do this, so why no police didn't come? What hood you from? Because police take like 2 hours to get here where we at. So,
Hmm.
nobody didn't do nothing when they heard the gunshots. That's how we are here. I don't know about your neighborhood, but it's this some of this stuff be real life experience. Some of it be imagination.
I got you. I got you. And so, what made you feel that your stories you write, your voice, your characters were needed in the Black indie fiction space?
Because a lot of people, like I was just saying, they write, they research, they got to do this, and then even with researchers, sometimes don't be right. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I could research where people hang out in Texas, how they talk in Texas, and write a book on it, and people from Texas be like, "That ain't what we say. That ain't what we do." So if you read any of my books, they all Chicago. They stay true to Chicago because I stay true to what I know. I think I've written one book that wasn't in Chicago, and it was for a reason. But I stay true to myself and I stay true to what I know. Like other than medical stuff, I don't really have to research. Like I stay true to what I know. And I feel like when you write what you know and you being authentic and you add that with passion, that's a good story. That's a great story. And a person could feel when something is forced, fake, or real and passion. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
feel like when people read my books, they feel authenticity, they feel genuinity, they feel like they really are out there in them stories. And that's what I go for.
So let's pivot into your craft because I want to explore that a little bit. When a story hits you, what's your process for shaping it into something full and complete? Because, like you said, you write from experience, you don't have to do a whole lot of research. But what is that process like with shaping your story?
It's so simple. People wouldn't even believe it. They wouldn't even believe it if I told when because so any little thing could put a book idea in my head. It could be a song. I literally got a book from Carmen's song, that Before You Like My Love Away. That song,
Hmm.
like it kept playing in my head. And I kept saying, I want to write a book to that. You know, the whole Queen Pen setting up to do, she was really the one behind everything. Like that song just alone just made me get a whole storyline. Like she set him up, but they thought it was him that did this, but it was for a reason. And I just jotted in my notes. And once I jotted in my notes and it's there, the characters start to make life in my head. And that's all I need because I don't outline. So once the characters make life and they form and they're born, that's it. They write themselves. Like I literally open a laptop and as long as I got in my mind how I want that character to be, what happens take off all on its own.
So that's something that comes natural to you. What comes from a place where it's stretching your abilities a little bit more? Where it's saying, okay, I know I don't have to usually outline. I know I can speak from experience. What causes you to stretch your gift a little bit further?
I just did that with Seven, the book I
Okay.
just dropped, the retelling of Snow White. And because it's a polyamorous book of her sleeping with seven people, I'm like, she's a
Oh,
virgin. Yeah, I'm like, she's a virgin, and I can't just throw her into the seven dwarfs' house and she's fucking seven people. So I'm like, okay, this you can't do your normal process because I normally write kind of fast paced, like boom, 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 boom. But I can do that with this story. It was like I don't want to rush it, so I actually outlined this book because I followed the exact guidelines of Snow White, like what happens from the beginning. So the only difference is the polyamorous effect. But everything that happened in Snow White, I did an urban version of it. You know what I'm saying? Even the mirror,
mm,
instead of having the mirror, I had um a guy in the community, the LGBT, he was the mirror because he was gossiping. He was telling her she was fine. But it was my version of the mirror. You get what I'm saying? So it was
yeah.
a lot of thought I had to put into that. I had to line it out, outline it out, and say, okay, this got to happen here, 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 here. So sometimes that happens where I have to stretch my, but when I don't want to rush a story, when I want to fully dive into certain parts, when I have to explain the characters, like my first dark romance I had to fully explain why they were that way because in my mind you it's something and the readers need to know what started this thought process. And so sometimes it can't just be boom boom boom. Sometimes I have to actually sit down and lay it out and explain it, and then that means my process is different. And then
Gotcha. Gotcha. So I want to explore your bloom. And in your bloom, it's exploring more of your story. So you talked about Seven. You talked about your dark romances. I want to talk about how I was introduced to you with three lovely gentlemen, Sir, Grand, and Sarge. They're not a series. but they all know each other in a sense. And so I want to start with the interconnected standalone books and where I recommend anybody starting with your catalog. Now, you may be feeling a little bit different about where people should start, but I was introduced to you here and I will always recommend moving forward. You start with Sir, Grand, and Sarge. So they're interconnected standalones at one point, and I originally thought they were a series. The men, Sir, Grand, and Lux, Grand and Sarge, they all got money, long pockets. Why was it important to include wealth as a part of the fantasy?
So it started with Sir. There, it was no Grand or um Sergeant play at first. It started with Sir. As I said, some characters jump in my head and it's just like so extreme. So I'm like, oh my God, like Sir was really talking. Like Sir wanted to do this, he wanted to do this, he was this. His demeanor, like I could feel how he talked, everything. If you notice, he talked very educated most of the time. He talked very proper because he went to Ivy League school. So all of that was popping into my head like I wanted him different or he wanted to be different. And that way, then most of my characters, like they urban, they hood, but he was like, no, I talk proper. I don't talk a lot. I don't laugh a lot. I don't joke a lot. And I was like, okay, okay. So in my mind, Ivy League schools, this you want to be different. Okay, let's add the wealth in there. Because to me, if you the certain things you want to do and how you want this person to bow down to you, you gotta have some coin, because
Yes.
ain't no broke nigga gonna have me doing all this and telling me I can't this. So the wealth is important when you're requesting and requiring certain things of women. You got to be that nigga if you want this done.
I know that's right. Because listen, the things that Sir was asking to be done, which included leaving your man.
Your
Like,
husband, your husband.
yes, your husband. He wanted you to leave your husband. Um, I was just like, okay, but he was about to flip old girl's world upside down and he
Yeah.
was ready to go.
So could you
So
imagine that with a broke person?
no, I can't. I can't. You're right. I can't imagine it with a broke person. I could barely imagine it with a rich person.
Okay.
So in my mind, I'm glad that you were able to expand what wealth looks like amongst these three men. And in my head, I thought they were like this new type of superhero because they all came in and saved these women in their own way. And they just so happen to have money. Their superpower was privilege and money. Now, the way that they saved these damsels in distress, it was unconventional. Unconventional to say the least, especially
Mhm.
Sarge. Help us, Lord. And in some cases, lacking couth. What was the thought process of making these hard men have a heart for the women they were saving? Now, they weren't soft, but they had a heart.
So when I started writing Sir and I opened with the dungeon scene, it was not supposed to be an erotica,
Mm,
but it kept going that way. And so I was like, okay. So because of the type of character he was, I said, I want to tap into BDSM, but I wanted Sir because of who he was to only deal with the mental part of it, to control the mental, to only want to deal in soul ties, to only want to this. And so because of that, that opens that south side. Like if you talking soul ties, you only want to deal with, you know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
only dealing with women where you feel like you can soul tie with. You can't be, like fuck you, bitch, that type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to
yeah,
be a little more willing to soften up for her or whoever in that way because a woman is not going to go in her soft girl era or allow you to control her mind or anything else if she can't trust you or understand that you know her and you know what I mean or
yeah,
can make that happen for her. And so even from the way he demanded certain stuff in the first scene and everything, she was mesmerized. But then you see him at the party, she's there with her husband and he
hmm,
talked up at her drawers like, hey. you know. But then he protected her with the husband. Like he lied for her, but he also made sure the husband knew. Like he like, I ain't gonna put you out there, but you know I just fucked your bitch, but without saying it. You know what I mean? So now you're showing
Yeah,
me that you're also a protector of me. But he also showed his dominance and showed the dude, I really control your bitch when he told her, go wait at the bar. And he told her to do something different than what the husband told her to do. And she
right.
listened to him. So he's showing all of these things to her, like he's a protector, he's a leader, he's a this. She just doesn't realize that's what's she's being molded. She just doesn't realize, but
I
she's
can see
trusting
that.
it.
I can see that because in that scene where she tells her husband what he wants to hear, to listen to what Sir was requiring her to do, that that makes a whole lot of sense. Look at you out here spitting mind games. Look
I
at you. Now you talked a bit about Sir, but my fave and most people's fave is Sarge.
don't know. I think
Most of the people I talked to said Sarge was their fave. Look,
a,
listen.
a lot of people did love Sarge, but that's because Sarge came out like maybe 2 years after Sir. But that's how I came
Ah,
to TikTok. I didn't know it was readers on TikTok. People kept sending me videos of Sir. People were doing videos of Sir, like he was trending on TikTok everywhere. And I was like, hey, reading on TikTok? That's how I ended up on TikTok because of Sir. So maybe it was because he was first. And then Sarge,
ah,
I didn't expect, I was shocked because I didn't even want to write Sarge. I didn't want to write Grant because I kept trying to figure out the order. Because when you write somebody like Sir and he was so serious and he was so, I'm like, but then if I drop Grant next, Grant was heavy. And I'm like, ugh. But then I'm like, but then
yes,
how do you go
Grant was
from
heavy.
Sir to Sarge? Because Sarge is comical. He playful. I was like, so I struggled with the order. And I really didn't want to drop the two after Sir. But I was like, you know what? I'm a person of completion. I would never leave nothing undone. I already said I was gonna do three. So just fuck it. So I dropped Grand, and then Grand did well, but it didn't do what Sir did. But then so I really had no hope for Sarge. And I was just like, just finish it, get it out there. And then Sarge was, I was like, they like Sarge? I was like,
Yes,
oh.
yes, Sarge is Bay. Sarge is Bay. Because you mean to tell me you gonna wreck my life and then make it all better by blowing a bag on me and my back out? Okay, baby, listen.
But Sarge didn't wreck her life. She ran from a wedding. He saved
She
her.
went. Okay, so listen. Well, okay, we listen.
He gave her a job.
Sarge.
He didn't know her. He just heard her story and was like, I can help you. Let me help.
So he wrecked her life in a sense of changing the idea of what love should have been for her to say that she was getting married. So he wrecked every idea of what she was expecting from the man she was supposed to marry and came in with a different type of opportunity for her.
Yeah,
So
she
you're
wasn't
right. He
ready.
just she wasn't ready. So like I said, he wrecked her life in that sense. But he also slowed her back out quite well, sir. And he was the peak of the three for me. So I know that he probably was like I get what you're saying. Like he was so fun to write. He must have been so fun to write because he was so funny. He was so funny.
And I think I like the idea of the nanny trope, right?
Yes. Yes.
And the fact that the baby mama asked for it and then saw her and was like, no, what is this?
Wrong
Well,
nanny.
you asked for this. She's like, what? Like, you asked for this, ma'am. I just gave you what you asked for, you know? But she was so intimidated. And that's why I think I didn't, and I know I wrote it, it's crazy to say, but I didn't like how she allowed her to get in her head. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that was the message I wanted to show. Like a lot of times we self-sabotage in relationships. Um, because I'm one of them, you can't tell me nothing about my man. I have to see it for myself. If I walk away, it's because of me and what I feel, but somebody else can't get in my head about my man. But a lot of times we self sabotage in that way in relationships because people plant seeds and they get this. And all you have to do is see one little thing that makes sense of what that seed that was planted, and boom, the tree done grew. And that's what happened with her. And the mother, well, a lot of people didn't like Sarah's mother and said she was being mean. That's what she was trying to explain to her. Like, you got to be ready for him because
Mm.
you coming across green and you seem like you ain't, ain't ready for this lifestyle. And if you're not, you know, don't even interrupt his space because, you know, and she really proved the mama right in so many words. Like, she tried to eat the mama back up, but you proved it right because you ran based off a bitch you know who don't like you. Saying something.
Well, well, I mean, you right, because Mama was right and telling it like it is, and Miss Girl was not heeding them words of Mama. So I get it. I get it.
My favorite part, I would say, the daughter, his sister. She was my favorite. His sister.
Yes, yes.
His sister.
Little Mama was up there being Geek Squad all on her own, doing everything. But you also did something really well with her
That was
with
my
his
favorite
sister.
part. That was my
You
favorite
did
part.
so good with his sister because she was a child being
Hmm.
made to enter into an adult world and
And
have
he freed her.
responsibilities of an adult. And I loved her character. She was like one of my favorite characters that you wrote
Hmm.
across all three books.
Hmm. That was my favorite part when he realized what they were basically doing to her and he freed her. Like, it's okay. Like, this is not your responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, this is too heavy on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a kid. This is the decision we made. This is the life we're choosing. You don't have to live this life. You can go to school and do this and do this. Like, we're gonna be okay. And I love that about it. I teared up right in that part. 'Cause that was my most favorite part. I ain't gonna lie. And then
I'm
she still,
glad
for her to still turn around and save him after he told her she basically didn't have to, she still saved his life. Like, when
you
Sir
did
and
that.
them, when Sir and them came because she found him and they came and he still,
Hmm.
I like that. That was my favorite part.
I felt like you went really deep on her character. Like she
Yeah.
had comedic relief, but you went really deep on her character. And I really liked how you gave her vulnerability, but also you made the adults responsible for the pressures that they were applying on her. That that really was so good and so well done.
Mm.
So I want to get into your ripple, your legacy. How do you want your readers to describe your brand and your voice when they recommend you to others?
Genuine, authentic, um, real, survivor, fighter. A lot of people don't know that I'm fighting with my own a major medical issue with my heart, and my daughter is fighting with major mental issues. And people see me laughing, joking, playing all the time. Cause I'm one of the people that keep getting up, keep fighting, keep pushing. Like, I don't try to waddle and stuff. I don't try to use it for sympathy or, anything like that. I just get up and do. So they don't have no idea that what I done went through in a day. They have no idea how hard it was for me to pick up that laptop and produce. You know what I'm saying? Because the type of day I had, type of day my daughter had, none of that. They have no idea. And I get up and I still produce, I still push out because it's a passion of mine. I love the way the readers respond to the books I write. I love reading their reviews when they inbox me, when they're talking to me. Like, that keeps me going. It gives me a purpose. It makes me feel like it's something positive in my life other than what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? All of the negative, all of the hurtful stuff, all of the medical stuff, everything, it just make me feel like, okay, cool. So when it's a lot of negative stuff going on in the industry and it's pushing me to, like I almost doing that's almost like a death sentence for me because it's like, this is my outlet. This is my happy space. This is my drive, my push. So, I feel like I want people to understand and know that I put a lot into that pen. Like, it may seem like, oh, she just wrote a book, but no, the mental I had to uh prepare and push myself to go through from the stuff that I had happening and still could produce this book and still keep producing books. Like I ain't saying be grateful, but like appreciate the art sometimes that authors are putting out there, because a lot of people don't understand, because we're human, we going through a lot of stuff still and we're still producing. And because you may not see it, because all of us are not stating it and expressing it, does not mean we're not getting dragged all over this good land by our edges like the rest of the people. You know what I'm saying? Just because you see us smiling, laughing, and it don't mean we not going through the same hills y'all going through, or sometimes worse. So appreciate that we were able to still produce something that you all love to read, you know what I'm saying, while we're still going through our own storms. Like y'all helping us bring sunshine in our storms, just like I've had readers tell me my books got them through some darkest times. And she don't realize her review just got me through a dark time. You see what I'm saying? Like, so we in this together. And I just want the fighting to stop between the readers versus we're in this together. One don't work without the other. It doesn't.
You're
A
right.
reader can't
You're
read
right.
without an author, and the author can't succeed without the reader. Like we need each other, and that's all I want for people to remember, that I push that every step of the way from the beginning to the end. I've always been about unity, about support. I support anybody. I support all things books, all things authors, all things readers, anything, like support, genuine loyalty, respect. That's me. Authentic is me. All in one.
I love that. I love that. So, what's next on the horizon for you for a book, maybe a new genre, your brand expansion, creative experience, book events? What's going on with you next?
Um, I never know where I'm going with a book. I do know my next book though is I'm gonna do my regular Christmassy type Christmas book, because Snow was a Christmas book too, but it was, you know, Snow White was the seventh book, was a Christmas book, but it was kind of on the real freaky deaky side. So I'm gonna do my regular Christmas, my regular Christmas book that comes out, I think, December 22nd. And then I'm relaunching the Hoover Gang. That is one of my that's my biggest legacy book. Like that's what I'm known for. Like most readers, they would tell you start there, but I put it because I wanted to, because it was one of my older books. So I wanted to facelift it, put a new cover on it, re-edit it or whatever. So I'm rebranding it, gonna put it back out, and then I'm gonna do a book in a bag to it, because they were bank uh stealers. I don't know how to say that on here. But they so everything in the bag is gonna be your kit to go take on the bank, basically.
Oh wow. Okay, I like that
Yeah,
concept. I ain't gonna
yeah,
do
because
nothing, but I like the concept.
right, right. So it's, most of it you can't use anyway, but that's what the props is. Everything in there is for that. So um and it's gonna be it's gonna be a duffel bag instead of a box. So everything in there will be based on what happens in the book. So I think that's gonna be cute. As far as going somewhere, I may be at the Boozy Book Tour in Vegas in February. Not sure yet. I know I'm doing Faye and the A, Jesting, and I'm doing the Converse and Denim in April, um, in Cali.
Hmm.
And I think that might be it for next year. Like I'm gonna go to some spots, but I think as far as me being an author, I haven't seen any other ones that I can do. But them the ones I think I'm gonna be author participating at, unless more come up. As far as my brand, um, Latoya Nicole is she's always everywhere in any genre trope. I've been took myself out the box. That's the beauty of being indie. Like I'm not in nobody's box. I would never allow nobody to tell me what I could, should, or should not be writing. So anything that I get a storyline for, no matter what the genre or trope is, except Christian fiction, that ain't my ministry. I'll I'll dive in and dabble in that. But I don't know, like I'm always open to some stuff. So anybody, anything, any collabs person want to do or something, or they feel like something that'll be good for the Latoya Nicole brand, let me know. We could talk about it and see where it go from there. But
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, we'll be finger crossing so I can see you out in these streets. I am excited for you. This has been one of the most raw interviews I have done, and I appreciate you so much for being
really,
your most authentic, raw self in this interview. This has been phenomenal. I want to just go ahead and close this out. You've all just experienced the Bloom Effect, where we honor the authors, the readers, and visionaries such as Miss Latoya Nicole herself, building the future of Black literature. Carry this energy forward, share the stories, champion the voices, and be a part of the legacy. Until we meet again, keep blooming boldly in your own chapter. Thank you.
thank you.